Oh god. To be honest, I was planning on pre-recording it, but for these reasons. But I guess we're here now, so. I'm like almost feeling like I'm ready to go back to streaming, but clearly I'm not quite there yet. So I'm gonna try not to die live. I have a ginger ale with me, and I'm gonna do as well as I can with that. So this is the mysterious Google GDC stream. It seems as though Google is taking a very serious stab at getting into games. Of course, recently Google publicly showed off their Project Stream thing, which was a brief little demo thing where people could try streaming Assassin's Creed Odyssey from Google to their home. People found that it was shockingly playable and was like a really, really good go at like streaming a streaming game service. The rumors, however, go a little further than that and express that they are perhaps also planning their own console-style box that people can buy, and that there will be new exclusive titles made for it, in addition to like regular multi-plat stuff. We know a couple developers who are going to be there, like Ubisoft and Bethesda, presumably with their latest Ubisoft and Dooms. Oh, is the music loud? I'm going to crank their music down a little bit. The thing that really makes me curious is I've heard murmurings both publicly and from some friends who I trust on the matter that there may be some cool formerly dead game series coming back courtesy of this. So I'm curious to see what things they have going on. I've heard mutterings of reasons for people to get excited, so we shall see. I'm hopeful, so we'll see. I mean, at worst we'll have a new machine that can play Doom Eternal, and that's not a bad thing. So they have to be Western, right? The big murmur I see around that specific line was that Sega might be the company that's involved with that, so we shall see. That would be really exciting. I don't know. I mean, there's so many old Sega things, so you know, whatever it would be cool. We are live. Okay, it is 1 o'clock now, 1:01, so they are officially a minute and change late. That's okay. I do this to you guys all the time, so I deserve to have to wait every now and again. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect. I'm hoping for a dedicated box with a controller that I can buy that has games, hopefully on discs, but I'll survive if they aren't. And I'm hoping to see some exciting games in here as well. And I mean, even if there aren't exciting new games, even just a new machine with the multi-plats, it's never a bad thing to have on the market for other consumers, you know? So yeah, if it is only a streaming device, then I'm certainly not as interested. Like, definitely not as interested. Oh, my category is still Pikmin? That's accurate. Change it to talk shows, which is probably not right either, but whatever. This is the slowest unveil of a Google logo I've ever seen. Let me know if the volume's ever too high, too low, and I will futz with that. We're here. You've done it. You've gotten us here.
The CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai.
Oh my god, look, they have couches. How lavish.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you all for joining us. I suppose I should start out with a confession. I'm actually not a big gamer, though I do play FIFA 19 quite a bit.
That's okay, because you hired
Really
Jade
enjoy
Raymond to
how
do that job,
immersive it
if
is.
I'm not mistaken.
Also play
So-
Ashes cricket quite a bit. And for those of you who are wondering what cricket is, it's kind of like baseball, but better.
Ashes Cricket, what a series.
Another little known fact is that Google makes arguably the most played game on the internet today. It's the Dino Chrome game, mostly played when there's no internet.
Oh man, I hope there's
I'm not
a
gonna talk to you about the
hyper-realistic
high-quality
versions
graphics and
of that.
sophistication you all are used to, but it does have a lot of players, and I've probably logged more hours than I care to admit.
It's, you know, a lot of people
While
do
I'm not
play
a big
this.
gamer, I do have the privilege of working at a company and leading a company full of people who love to solve hard computer science problems. For many Googlers, their journey with computers started with games. Games have inspired many generations of people to pursue careers in tech. And through that process, they build resourcefulness, creativity, and collaboration, all qualities that are key to solving hard problems. And within Google and Alphabet, games play a big part in developing our own technology. The best example I can think of is how we are making progress on AI. DeepMind's AlphaZero uses self-play to learn from scratch and master games like chess, shogi, and Go. It's an important step towards creating a flexible, general-purpose
I don't know if you
system
guys
that
saw
can learn to solve
NVIDIA's
many
like
foundational
deep
problems.
fake visual AI thing that
More
they
recently,
presented yesterday at
AlphaStar
GDC.
became the
Holy
first
shit,
AI
it's
to defeat
amazing.
a top professional player at StarCraft 2, using a deep neural network trained directly from raw game data. Increasingly, games are helping AIs learn to tackle real-world challenges.
Is deepfake not the right
Even
term for
beyond
that?
DeepMind,
It might
another
not
great
be.
example we have is Waymo, where we use simulations
I'm not
in
too
gaming-like
familiar with the
environments
vernacular.
to test things that aren't actually possible or safe at scale in the real world. In fact,
Oh,
Waymo has
deepfakes
driven
is
more
the
than
porn
5
thing.
billion hours in
Ah.
simulations of edge case scenarios that vehicles wouldn't
This
normally
NVIDIA
encounter.
thing let you draw
Use it,
like
we learn from
with
it, and
colors,
actually improve
and
the
it would
systems
make a
that we'll be
pretty
deploying in
beautiful photorealistic version of what you drew in
Perhaps
just
the
basic
biggest
colors.
impact of gaming
And it was
is
all
how it
environment
pushes
stuff.
us
Very cool.
to make big leaps in computing and networking power, high-fidelity graphics,
Yeah, this is
and
Odyssey.
the infrastructure that supports it all. All of you are pushing computing and technology forward, and I find that really exciting. At Google, we've always believed that technology should adapt to people, not the other way around. We've been building towards this vision for some time. For example, when we launched Chrome a decade ago, we envisioned that it could be a modern platform for web applications and bring the power of web to everyone, including use cases that seemed impossible at that time, like high-quality games. Finally, we are making progress towards that goal. In fact, over the past 2 years, we've been hard at work on game streaming technology. And last fall, we launched our first public test with Project Stream. As some of you guessed, a technical test wasn't the whole view of our ambition.
People responded
Probably
really
the worst kept
positively
secret
to
in the
it.
industry.
I saw a lot
Internally, we
of
were actually testing our ability
write-ups
to
from
stream
folks,
high-fidelity graphics,
and people were
over
very
a low
impressed with how
latency network.
playable it was.
We learned that we could bring a AAA game to any device with a Chrome browser and an internet connection.
Yeah, it was only
The best of
available in the
Google
United States
to create a
specifically,
powerful
I
game
believe,
platform.
because I think I wanted to, and I
And when
realized
we
I
say
couldn't.
best of Google, it always starts with our cloud and networking infrastructure.
And I think they gave
Custom
everyone a
server
free
hardware and
streamable
data
copy
centers
of Assassin's
can bring
Creed
more
Odyssey
computing power
who
to more
participated.
people
So-
on planet Earth than anyone else.
That's cool.
Today, we are in 19 regions and in over 200 countries and territories, connected by hundreds of thousands of miles of fiber optic cable. The best of Google also includes our open platforms that allow you to reach billions of people. With Google, your games will
Oh,
be
did they give you a download? Was that what it was? It
by
wasn't
over
a
2
stream
billion
copy?
people on a
Ah,
Chrome
okay, my
browser,
mistake.
Chromebooks,
That makes more sense.
Chromecast, Pixel devices, and we have plans to support more browsers and platforms over time. That's in addition to all the people playing and watching games across YouTube and Google Play. And when we build
We're
these
watching this on
ecosystems,
YouTube right
we
now,
always take the approach
and we're using
that we
Chrome right
only
now. Man,
succeed
this just
when
goes
our
all the way.
partners do.
This goes all the way up.
Collectively, our partners across web, Google Play, and YouTube have earned more than $110 billion over the past 4 years alone. We are committed to this approach here as well. So now we are focused on our next big effort, which is to build a game platform for everyone. And when we say for everyone, we really mean it. It's one of our most cherished values as a company. Be it Android or Chrome or AI, we are dead serious about making technology accessible for everyone. But if you think about games, there are a lot of barriers for users to play high-end games. Beautiful graphics really need high-end consoles or PCs. And games don't have instant access. Think about the way the web works. You can easily share a link, and it works seamlessly. We want games to feel that way too. Instantly enjoyable with access for everyone. I think we can change the game by bringing together the power and creativity of the entire community. People who love to play games, people who love to watch games, and people who love to build
This is
games.
sounding very in line with what
That means
every
all of
other
you.
company getting
We're
into
really
streaming
excited to work
games
with you.
is
We
doing.
want to build a platform. We want you to show us what's possible. And together,
It's very
we can
true,
create
though,
a new
opening up
game
the ability to play
powered by best of Google,
the types of
and
games
built
you
for
expect to
everyone.
play on a
Let's take
PC
look.
or a console to areas of the
beginning of
world that
time,
don't have easy access
games have brought us
to
together.
high-power PCs and consoles is
Players
going to be a really big
and
deal
spectators.
for broadening the market.
By the handful, the hundreds, and the thousands.
I don't personally
We
want
built
to stream
studios.
games if there's
Places
no
together
alternative,
around every
um,
kind of spectacle.
or if there is an alternative, pardon. But for some people,
Glory,
that could be the only option.
tragedy,
People who,
pageantry,
presently don't have any
community,
options. So
rivalry, and wonder. Until every city, town, and village had a place where anyone could play. Thousands of years in, our games have changed. But our need to come together remains. This new era of gaming needs a new place to gather.
does it have FF15, or are you just showing us footage of FF15?
One place where anything you dream can be built. Playgrounds for every imagination.
They showed one of the
One
Tomb
place
Raider
you
titles too, but
and everyone
again,
they
I'm
know,
not sure if this is
and
just a
everyone they know
sizzle
will
reel
all
of
come
Twitch
together.
footage. Or sorry, YouTube live footage. Am I gonna be in this sizzle reel?
One
I can
place
only
that
hope.
never stops evolving. Where everyone will play
Yeah, there he is.
and watch
Yes! High five! Right, bam!
and create.
Woo! Nice!
From any screen, at any time.
Oh, that controller mock-up.
One place
Turns out
for
it's
all
real.
toys in the world.
I don't know about that controller we just saw there.
Is Stadia.
Stadia? Okay.
Gather round.
Like a stadium. I follow. Not in love with the name, but that seems fine to me.
Welcome to Stadia. We are so excited by this. To do this well, it's important that we have the right people working on this, experts with deep history and heritage in games. That starts with Phil Harrison, who joined us about a year ago.
Yeah,
Great
they've
leader,
been spending money
great
on this.
gamer. Definitely someone who knows the difference between RPGs and NPCs. I'm going to pass the mic over to Phil to show you what we have built. Take it away, Phil.
Thank you, Sundar.
Now he's gonna go play Ashen's cricket in the back.
Thank you, Sundar. It's such a pleasure to be here today, and thank you for joining us at GDC as we finally get to share Google's vision for the future of games, where the worlds of watching and playing games converge into a new generation.
It's been a while since we've
game
seen
platform
Phil on a stage.
Purpose-built for the 21st century, powered by the best of Google. Our vision for Stadia is simple. One place for all the ways we play, It's focused on gamers, inspired by developers, and amplified by YouTube creators. Today, our industry captivates over 2 billion players from all around the world. At the center of that community, its beating heart, are the game developers, the people in this room that create the most incredible game experiences that delight
yeah, for anyone who
with
doesn't know, they're
stories,
actually, this is at
characters,
GDC
and
right
worlds
now.
through a
So
dazzling display of technology, artistry, and magic. Games are now the single biggest form of entertainment on the planet, one that connects a vast community across geographies, cultures, and language. And within that passionate community, there is a universe of people who love playing games, and there's a universe of people who love watching games. Hundreds of millions of people watch gaming content every single day on YouTube. But those two worlds are mostly disconnected, fragmented, and often independent of each other. Our vision is to bring those worlds closer together.
oh man,
To connect
it'll
game
be nice.
developers with players,
It'll be
and YouTube
interesting
creators
when
in
you're
a way
watching a
that
video on
only
YouTube of a
Google
game, and you can
creating
just
a
click on the
richer and
game
more
under the
vibrant
video
gaming community for
and start
everyone
streaming
to
it in your
enjoy.
browser.
Through the power
on your
of
phone
our
or what
data
have you.
centers, the
Oh, that'd be
extraordinary
real
reach and
neat.
community of YouTube, and our investments in the fundamental technologies that are the foundations of the open internet, we offer a truly unique opportunity to combine these worlds. We will be handing that extraordinary power of the data center over to you, the game developers, where playgrounds for every imagination can be
They have the
created.
ultimate infrastructure for it
Our
too,
first
so
public test of this came in October of last year with Project Stream, where we streamed a AAA HD game at up to 1080p and 60 frames per second over the internet from Google data centers to a Chrome browser. We were humbled by the overwhelmingly positive response from players who were able to join us on Project Stream. A huge thank you to those of you who participated in Project Stream and for your vital feedback. And also to the amazing people at Ubisoft for trusting us with the latest incarnation of their incredible game franchise, Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft has
how
always
fast
been
an
at the
internet
forefront
connection do you
of
need for that?
advancements in the
I
game
think I remember
industry,
reading
and they
people
have an
were saying
incredible
like
track
you
record of
wanted
success
like
and
6 to
creativity.
8 megs
And joining us here in
down
the audience today, I'm delighted to welcome
to get like
CEO
really
and
good
co-founder of
results,
Ubisoft,
I think.
Yves Guillemot.
But
Thank you, Yves.
it's been a fair few months since October, so I can't quite recall exactly. It is definitely, you know, not ideal for people
I'd like
with data
to
caps or
thank
limited
Yves
internet,
and his
like
team for
no
partnering with us,
question.
and to producer
So
Marc-Alexis Cote and the entire Ubisoft Quebec studio for their masterpiece creation, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Thank you for bringing your game to our platform, and congratulations for being the first game played by the public on Stadia. As many of you experienced with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we now have the ability to take a sophisticated, graphically intense AAA game and stream it to a Chrome browser running on a simple laptop without any sacrifice to the quality or vision of the game developer. As successful as Project Stream was, our ambition is, of course, far beyond a single game. As we developed our strategy for this new platform, we asked developers how we can help solve some of the most critical challenges you face. There were 3 very clear themes that resonated. You told us you wanted to unleash your creativity without limits, get to the widest possible scale, and make it easier for people to connect with your games. We used these 3 themes to anchor our vision and build our platform architecture, and began to share it with the leading publishers and developers in the world. Now, let me show you how we have brought this vision to life.
please.
Imagine you are watching games on YouTube.
Yeah,
You
okay.
discover the latest Assassin's Creed Odyssey trailer.
What do you
on
do? Do you
Ubisoft's
click
official
just under the
channels on
video?
YouTube.
Oh,
You
there
will
it
notice the
is.
Play Now button.
Look at
By simply
that.
clicking on that button, the player is brought directly into the
That's
game in a
so
browser
well
in as quick
integrated.
as 5 seconds.
That's so well
With no
integrated.
download,
I'm
with no download,
that's impressive.
no patch, no update,
Considering how
no install.
well Odyssey
Stadia
worked as
offers
well
instant access to play.
during the test.
Our platform vision for
Like
Stadia
this-
is to reduce the friction between
this
getting
should work.
excited about a game and playing a game. On Stadia,
This should
you
work
just
well.
need to click on a YouTube video or link, and you can be playing your game instantly. Compare that to today, where gamers are all too familiar with things like this. With Stadia, this waiting game will be a thing of the past. The power of instant
I do want to
access is
choose
magical.
to have
It's
that.
already transformed the music
Again,
and
I
movie
don't
industry.
want only a
Stadia,
streaming
it is now
experience, but
available
we
at
shall
the
see.
highest level of gaming. But wouldn't it be even more magical if that same game and that same instant experience could be available across any screen type in your life? A key benefit of our platform is that a single creative vision and a single code base can now be enjoyed instantly across any screen. At launch, we'll support being able to play games across desktops, laptops, TV, tablets, and phones. This new generation of gaming is not a box. Stadia, the data center, is your platform. There is no console that limits the developer's creative ideas, and no console that limits
no
where
console
gamers
that
can play.
limits.
And we're about to show this to you now. This is not a concept, it's not a test, this is real. I'd like to bring my friend Khaled to the stage to show you this working. So imagine you've just discovered that game for the first time, you're running it on the Chrome browser, and here it is on a Pixelbook running the Chrome OS. There is basically no hardware acceleration on that laptop whatsoever, and the game is running directly from our data center. It's then easy and instantaneous to move that same game experience from exactly that moment onto the phone, here on a Pixel 3 XL. Once again, no loss in quality, and we can go straight onto the desktop PC. We actually went to buy the least powerful PC we could find here. And we could enjoy the same vision that the developer had, the same high
God, that is a real
1080p stream,
quick jump from device to device.
and the full game vision, regardless of the hardware that you're using. And then it's once again seamless to go from running on our PC to running on a tablet. In this case, once again, running the Chrome OS on a Pixel Slate.
Yeah, there's that controller.
Finally, we then move seamlessly to the TV. So this TV is accessed using this, which is a Chromecast Ultra HDMI streamer. There is no console required to reach this experience.
Am I okay? I'll be fine. I'll survive. I'm on the tail end of my illness, so.
Welcoming any and all players is fundamental to Stadia, where you can try with your friends on devices you already own. And as such, we're also enabling players to use your existing USB controller or mouse and keyboard when playing Stadia on a laptop.
Vague Xbox-looking pad there.
By eliminating that friction, that barrier to entry, we will make it simple and easy for players who want to try Stadia for the first time. But of course, we will have our own controller that has been uniquely designed to enhance the experience for the Stadia player. I'd like to introduce you to the newest member of the Google hardware family, the Stadia controller.
Yeah, I'm not really in love with the layout or the design, I suppose.
This is your gateway to the
looks
best
a little...
of Stadia. It enables you to access
I don't know. Maybe it's more comfortable than it looks, but it doesn't look super comfortable.
To the Stadia controller. And the first is that it will connect through Wi-Fi directly to the game that is running in the Google Data Center. The Stadia controller identifies
oh, that's interesting. So it's not connected to your device locally. It's actually jumping that and straight to the internet. That's smart. That's actually pretty smart.
The Stadia controller features two very important new buttons.
That's pretty clever, I gotta say.
Sharing and saving your game experience back out to YouTube. The gamer can choose to share their experiences starting with a click of this button to themselves, to their friends, or to the world. They are in control. And the second one is the Google Assistant button. Pressing this button allows players to immediately access the controller's built-in microphone so they can get help from the assistant for special in-game features integrated by developers.
Hey Google, look, they got a Konami code. Did
Our
you see
goal
that?
with Stadia is to help fuel developer creativity at every level. And next, we'll take a look at the incredible computing power we have custom built into our data centers that will further accelerate innovation. I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague, the head of engineering for Stadia, Maj Bakar.
Thanks so much, Bill. Let's look at the real-time computing power we have put into our data centers that will change how we view what a game platform can be. In order to deliver an amazing experience for your game.
Price per game or streaming monthly sub, call it now, senpai. I mean, I think it's going to be monthly sub, because like buying games for streaming doesn't work as well, you know, for the company. Like if you spend $60 to buy your Persona 5 and you're going to be streaming it for like 120 hours,
500 edge node locations around the globe.
That's like a shit lot of streaming for like a fixed price. It makes more sense to have like a monthly fee. But even then nowadays, it's not like it costs much to do that. So I don't know. Maybe they'll do both. Be nice if they did both. I would prefer both, but.
We took that proven model and integrated it with custom design, purpose-built gaming
options are always good.
Creating the most powerful and connected gaming platform. Each of Stadia's data center is composed of interconnected racks that deliver the high-power graphics, memory, and storage needed to run the most demanding games. Only with Google can you apply the power and flexibility of data centers to game development. This architecture is the foundation for this new generation of gaming. We've been testing this technology privately within Google for years. For our initial public test with Project Stream in 2018, we delivered up to 1080p 60 frames per second with stereo audio. When Stadia launches, we will have increased performance significantly to support resolutions up to 4K at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, not on my internet. HDR as well? Jesus. Not on my internet.
With HDR and surround sound. And in the future, we'll be able to stream games in up to 8K resolution.
Like, that's cool.
We know there are
not in Canada, though.
TVs in the world that have 8K today. But we also know the widespread adoption of 8K
future-proofing's good. So,
we have built
whatever.
Our platform to scale up with the highest performing networks to deliver the visual quality demanded by future generation of gamers and game developers. What's even more exciting is that in addition to the stream you get as a player, there is a second simultaneous stream at 4K 60 frames per second that you can choose to share directly to YouTube from the Stadia data center. Meaning your gaming memories will be saved at the highest possible quality.
That's neat.
Stadia is not constrained by the limitation of traditional console systems. Instead, we have built a truly flexible, scalable, and modern platform that allows us to push performance beyond what was previously considered possible. This architecture gives us even more flexibility to scale. And thanks to fast transfer speeds between the Stadia instances in our data center, our platform can connect instances together to dynamically expand the capabilities along with the need of your games. As a developer, you're used to being forced to tone down your creative ambition that are limited by the hardware.
Oh, instead the hardware will turn up?
But our vision with Stadia is that the processing resources available will scale up to match your imagination. In this new generation,
that's interesting.
The data center is your platform. We've partnered with our friends at AMD to build a custom GPU. I'd like to personally thank Dr. Lisa Su, AMD President and CEO, who is here with us today. Lisa and her team helped us design a chip to bring you more than 10 teraflops of power, which we've coupled with a custom CPU to make up a single Stadia instance.
When can I buy one of those?
And here's how the graphical power of Stadia compares to the top 2 consoles in the market. You can see, thank you. You can see that a single Stadia instance is a big step forward. 10.7 teraflops is more powerful than the top 2 consoles of the previous generation combined. Stadia will be using the Linux operating system and the Open Graphics API, Vulkan. And when it comes to game engines, we're excited to announce that we have partnered with Unreal, who will be fully supporting the Stadia platform.
That's good.
We're also partnering with Unity to bring full support for the 2
That's
most
also
popular
good.
and familiar game engines to our development community. And we're empowering developers with an amazing array of familiar middleware that you already use to power your game development, including the most popular physics engine, Havok. And here's a list of our partners.
Edible
now.
Enthusiasm in the chat
And of
says,
course, this
doesn't
list will
Unity have its
continue
own
to grow over
platform?
time.
So Unity had like a browser
With the stream
streaming
of
thing, but
tools,
I believe
game
they've
development
actually
can evolve as quickly as the
cut that
imagination of content
a while
creators.
back.
To achieve that, we're providing multiple ways to make games for Stadia. You can develop on our cloud, your cloud, and at your desk. Our goal is to make Stadia the most flexible development environment ever put together. And that power is, of course, used to create the best content. Our first guest is from a company known for creating the most sophisticated and impressive gaming experiences in the industry that always demand the most of every system they run on. We had the chance to give our friends at id early access to our tools and technology. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the stage executive producer from id, Marty Stratton.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here, Phil and Majd. I'm honored to be part of a team at id that has spent more than 25 years on the bleeding edge of technical innovation. When we first met with Google about game streaming, frankly, we were skeptical about how it would work.
Holy Forks in the chat says, is this the power of the cloud thing Microsoft tried but failed before? It's a different thing, actually. Microsoft's idea was that the Xbox could leverage the computational abilities of the Azure servers to do rapid, huge number crunches. In practice, that didn't really pan out super hard because games don't really need that unless you design the whole game around it. This is like streaming video, really. So,
in fact, back in 2016, Doom was the first AAA game.
No, Microsoft has the right. I mean, you know, their idea works, but in practice, nobody wants to. As far as I can see, people don't want to make games that need to leverage the servers like that, you know.
Built on the fun and sense of power.
I don't think they have a problem with their tech though, or anything like that. Like the Azure servers do like tons of shit. So
you play as an unstoppable hero sent to destroy hell's fiercest demons across an expanding universe of unbelievable locations. We couldn't be happier to be bringing Doom Eternal to Stadia, and are thrilled to announce that the game will be capable of running at true 4K resolution with HDR color at an unrelenting 60 frames per second. We actually can't wait to show you more of Doom Eternal very soon, in fact. We have the full game running on Stadia, live from Google data centers, and you can see it today at our developer session. It starts at 12:30 over in West Hall. You won't want to miss it.
I was hoping, like, just like a link would pop up in this YouTube stream.
For giving us this
like,
opportunity
play Doom Eternal right here.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Marty. It's a privilege to work with id and your incredible engineers and creators. For anyone who knows the franchise, you know Doom Eternal will look and play amazingly well on our platform. It was important for us to partner with a developer like id so that we could prove, not just to ourselves, but to the entire industry, that our platform is capable of supporting the most demanding titles. And Doom will be running on a single Stadia GPU. The fundamental benefit of our cloud-native infrastructure is that developers will be able to take advantage of hardware and power in ways never before possible. And that includes taking advantage of the power of multiple GPUs at once. We've asked our friends at UL Benchmarks, makers of 3D Mark, to put Stadia to the test. In this video, you can see some comparison points showing the difference between our single GPU and multiple GPUs. What you see here on the left of the line is running on a single 10.7 teraflop GPU. And on the right of the line, you can see the same content running on Stadia using multiple.
It's a little
GPUs.
hard to appreciate
In this demo,
some of the
we're highlighting
differences.
real-time
Oh,
fluid
the
deformation.
fluids. Yeah, no, the fluids are
Accurate water
super different.
simulation
It's
is one
true.
of the most compute-intensive effects for games. And it's a powerful example of what Stadia is capable of. And I'm so excited to see where game developers go with this kind of performance.
That is
When we
interesting,
designed
the
Stadia,
premise that
our
like
goal was to solve
developers
many
wouldn't
of the
even have
pain
to do
points
anything
that we've heard
extra
about from
and
developers,
the device
particularly
would just be
those
able to
related
scale up.
multiplayer. In
So they'd be
traditional
able to go
platforms,
like
the
pretty
client
wild
and
with effects
server
and
are
such.
connected by the unpredictable
I'm
internet,
intrigued
and
by
therefore
that.
the multiplayer experience is limited by the client with the slowest or poorest quality connection. But with Stadia, that game client and server both remain on Google's networking backbone, resulting in predictable low latency, reliable connectivity, and data security, since no traffic gets exposed to the public internet. Developers who use Google's data centers can create a predictable multiplayer experience that scales to an order of magnitude greater than anything enjoyed by gamers today. What that means is a synchronized state.
See
across a
Cernak in
very
the
high
chat
volume
saying,
of
is there a
players,
scenario where
where
like all the
innovations
machines
like
are being
distributed
used and you
physics
gotta
can be
queue up?
built into your
I would
game,
imagine
where battle
theoretically,
royale games
yeah,
go from
but
hundreds of
you know they
players
do manage
today to
YouTube, and
thousands
YouTube
of
never
players
has a
tomorrow.
situation like that.
And
So
yes, no cheating and no
I think
hacking.
in theory, yeah, there's a hard limit,
Google
you
has
know,
always
physically,
believed that the
but
world is a better place when we are able to connect
I imagine they'll
without
have it pretty
barriers.
under control.
And as a new generation game platform, Stadia will, of course, embrace full cross-platform play.
I see Velasque says, what does this mean for hardware makers? I don't know yet. I don't know yet what this means.
Developers will have the ability to enable cross-platform multiplayer for all players, and even bring game saves and
I don't think
progression
this
across as well.
Means a lot in the
I'd now
short
like to
term. You
introduce a
know,
member
the
of
internet's
Stadia's
not where it
R&D
needs to
team
be
who
for
are pushing
everyone
the
to
envelope,
use
bringing
it.
the best of
You
Google
know,
to
this is
game
going to be a
developers.
great
Please
alternative to
welcome the
consoles for
stage
people
our
who
lead
wouldn't
designer
get
for research and
consoles.
development at Stadia, Erin Hoffman-Jung.
You know, people who love their PCs and their consoles and playing games locally
Thank you,
aren't
Phil.
going to change their tune,
One
I
of our
think, in
team's
general.
favorite
So,
comments about Project
but I mean,
Stream
you know,
was a tweet that
Sony
described
has
Stadia's
PlayStation Now,
technology as the
Xbox
work
has
of
Project
wizards.
xCloud. You know, everyone
We are
is going
incredibly
towards
fortunate
this because
to
they
work with
know.
wizards every
She's got a
day,
red shirt on that's
bending their
really
magic
nice.
toward games.
It's a really
I'd
nice
like to take
glossy
you through a
red
few
shirt.
technologies
I'm
and
very
features
into
that
that
we've been
t-shirt.
working on that are going to enhance the game development process for developers big and small. The first one is focused on multiplayer. Stadia not only provides high-performing multiplayer experiences from player to player, but also allows developers to create new, gorgeous gaming environments. Our friends at Tangent Games have been working with us on a technical proof of concept that you can see here behind me. They spent a few short weeks creating this beautiful multiplayer world with a persistent, massively destructible environment. It is a raw demonstration of scale
I'm sorry,
and
Crackdown
power
3.
using the best of Stadia technology, where every piece of the environment in this multiplayer world is destructible using real-time rigid body physics. Using Google's unique infrastructure, developers can create games built to house hundreds of players with low latency and perfect synchronization. This demo will be available on the show floor if you want to check it out this week. As we were building the platform, we collaborated with individual developers, but we also thought about trends in game development. When we thought about our most treasured gaming memories, something kept
I'm
coming
interested
back.
to see what games they'll
Something we love.
show. Because as much as I don't love the idea of streaming, like if they have new, cool, exclusive stuff, like yeah, you bet your ass I'm gonna play it rather than not.
And
So,
so split-screen couch co-op has been fading from gaming. But when all of your clients
because that thing
are in
already
the
looked
cloud,
pretty neat.
couch multiplayer has new life again through Stadia in what we're calling Stream Connect. In the past, the resources required to execute split-screen co-op have required developers to sacrifice more of their creative goals.
Oh
With
shit.
Stream Connect, we're making it possible to realize split-screen multiplayer
We could do
without any
big time
performance
split
penalty.
screen. Oh man,
Behind
that
me,
hadn't
you'll see a
occurred to
technology
me.
proof of concept that
But
we
yeah,
built
just
with
having
It's
multiple
called the Night
streams
Force,
attached to
a
each
co-op
other.
demo with asymmetric player roles. Here we have 2 players, one hunter on the ground and a supporting aerial player, set up in a standard split-screen view.
That's cool.
Each of these screens is powered by a separate Stadia instance. But what would happen to squad-based games if developers could allow
And if it's
players
all
to
crushed
co-op
into one video as well.
or utilize any polygonal
Wow,
surface
that's
as a
really
receiver
clever,
for another
man.
player's video stream. Stream Connect makes this possible with extremely little effort on the part of the developer, bringing dynamic squad-based gaming into easy reach even for very small teams. We've shown you 3 views, but we can keep going. We can keep adding streams and shaping
Yeah,
how they're
do
shown
it.
to the
Do
player,
it.
giving a designer not one but many cameras into a scene. Now imagine if you could go beyond seeing into players' worlds. What if you could interact with them? Here we have our streams configured into a command center where a 4th player can coordinate the movements of our drone, scientist, and hunter characters. Now that coordinator is reaching into the world and placing a beacon to call attention to a particular location, seen instantly by the other players. Stream Connect is just one of the ways Google is working to support developers in creating more immersive and creative experiences, whether bringing back effortless couch-based co-op or inventing entirely new multiplayer games. Our next technology demo focuses on the power of the Google Cloud and machine learning and how they can have an impact on accelerating developer creativity. Every developer feels the burn in pre-production to get to a game's magic sooner. We think Google's machine learning technology might have some answers. Here to talk about it is a developer known for creating some amazing, stylish, and celebrated independent games, including Deadlight, Rhyme, and The Invisible Hours.
Oh, Tequila Works.
Please welcome Chairwoman of Tequila Works, Luz Sancho.
God, Invisible Hours is so fucking good.
Thank you, Erin. I am very excited to be here for the unveiling of the Stadia platform. There are so many different benefits that Stadia delivers to all developers, big and small, and particularly for a studio like ours. At Tequila Works, we are very proud of the art styles of our games. It's something we spend a lot of time perfecting. Our development cycles typically last 24 months, and as you can imagine, a large part of that time is dedicated to defining the art style of the game. We are particularly proud of Rhyme. Its visual identity created a lasting impression with our players. But it took us a long time to get to that final style. That's why we were so excited to hear from Google about one of the tools they are making available, an amazing tool that will dramatically influence and ease this process. With a Style Transfer ML, Google is applying the science of machine learning to art visualization.
Style Transfer is a machine learning technology that runs on the video frame created by the game. All of this happens in real time on a Stadia instance. We built this demo to show you what it can do. We start with a gray box world.
They showed some
and pick any
footage
image
of
we want.
this.
In this case,
God, I
it
recognize
is
that
yellow, red, blue,
painting.
and
My
the
mom
model
had
does
a
the rest.
print of that.
Throw it Starry Night, and you have another style. Give it scratch art, and you get this. We're doing our part to empower the artist inside of every developer. The R&D team iterated through hundreds of art styles testing this technology, and one of our favorites came from an old friend.
God, and you're telling me that you can just jam in a picture, jam in a JPEG, and just...
What excites us and some of our partners so far is how many playable art styles we can create just by feeding it more and more images. It inspires and empowers our artists to get the visions in their heads into interactive environments in a whole new way. And this is just the beginning.
We are using Style Transfer ML in our studio today, and we are blown away by the impact it's having on our latest creations. You will see it. This could really change everything. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It is very true, though. Like, this seems insanely powerful.
Thank you, Luth. With Style Transfer, our goal is to help developers find the magic of their games quicker. You can check out Style Transfer during the show this week. We can't wait to hear your feedback. Creators inspire us to bring the best of Google to games, and creators are at the heart of Stadia. it isn't just what they create, but how those moments are experienced by players, moments that resonate for generations to come. The last feature we want to introduce today is another special experience made possible by the cloud. It's called State Share. And here to talk about it from Q Games is Dylan Cuthbert.
State Share. Dylan Cuthbert in the house? That's cool.
Everyone,
State Share.
it's great to be here with all of you today.
Like save
As a
state?
veteran game
Like,
developer, I love how creators on YouTube have brought our games to life. But I've always wished those experiences could be more social and like even more fun. And I'm extremely excited by what I've learned from Google about bringing new ways to share a game's replayable moments.
like someone
New
posts a video of something and then you
State Share,
can play that?
developers can let a player instantly share
That's Pixel Junk
a playable
Shooter.
moment from a game.
Possibly
This
the
could
second
include
one.
the world state, the player's position, items they're carrying, anything the developer wants to pack into a shareable moment. The game's state can be encoded into a link that tells Stadia where to pick up the game. This could be sent to one player, or it could be shared with thousands at the same time.
So yeah,
on
like
YouTube,
a
through
really
email, apps,
a really
messaging,
tight
wherever
like
links
save
can
state
go.
sharing
To
system.
me,
That's
this
real
totally
nifty,
changes
actually.
how I think about the
Especially if
experience.
that just picks up in a stream in the
I can
window
create
like
moments specifically
seconds
for
later.
This kind of sharing. Challenges to beat my incredible speed runs, or chances for other players to also experience those same like tough boss battles. I can build as many shareable moments as I want and let the internet turn my whole game into an infinitely replayable treasure hunt. I was so intrigued with the possibilities of State Share that I designed a brand new game around it, and it's the biggest title ever for Q Games.
Nice.
Right now, it's still under wraps. but
Damn.
I can't wait to reveal more about this game later this year.
Fuck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dylan. State Share is one more way that Stadia is working to empower developers with entirely new tools that embrace a player's desire to discover, share, and build a community. We're extremely excited by the reception it's gotten from our early partners so far. And with that, I'd like to introduce the head of gaming at YouTube to tell you what Stadia means for content creators. Please welcome Ryan Wyatt.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm very excited to be here at the unveiling of Stadia. As you've heard, Stadia is about delivering the best developer experience so that the best games can be made. But we're also committed to making sure we have the best creator experience so that the entire community gets stronger together. YouTube is where people come to watch gaming. More than 200 million gamers come to YouTube every single day to engage with their favorite games and creators.
And we're gonna delete it all right
And they come
now,
because of the community
live.
of gaming creators and viewers who have turned YouTube into the gaming platform that it is today. We're always looking for ways to strengthen the connection between creators and viewers, and Stadia is designed to bring them together like never before. Gaming has always been the backbone of YouTube since the platform first was founded in 2005. And one thing YouTube gaming creators want is to engage with their fans. That will always be the most important thing to them. That's why over 50 billion hours of gaming content was watched on YouTube last year alone. And to just give you an idea of how much 50 billion hours is, you could walk to Pluto and back more than a dozen times. Stadia is focused on empowering both creators and viewers to achieve new heights by breaking barriers of content capture and creating unique ways to engage with and grow a creator's audience. Established creators will have new ways to engage and monetize on YouTube with Stadia features. And with aspiring creators, we're going to break down the barrier of entry in capturing content by giving you the ability to highlight, live stream, and capture directly from Stadia. We've already seen the idea of any YouTube link being a direct access point into the game, and that is a huge opportunity for both big and small creators. We're empowering creators to forge deeper connections with their audience, and one of those ways will be to make it easier to actually game with them. Often when you're watching a stream, you find yourself wishing you could be in there playing alongside with your favorite creators. On traditional platforms, you'd have to fire up your console or your PC and just hope that you get matched up with them. However, with Stadia, and a new feature called Crowdplay, you'll be able to simply click
Just
a button,
click
play
and
right
jump
to
right
stream,
in?
and jump
Wow.
in and play with YouTube creators.
That's
watching.
interesting. That's a
Take
really,
a look at the video
really
behind me.
solid feature,
It's a live
man.
stream of NBA 2K.
Join
The
this
person
game,
watching
third in
can
line.
simply click the link and be placed into the
That's
lobby
a
for the
really
next
cool
game.
idea.
If you think about it, crowd play can act like an all-new lobby system for games. And with Stadia, YouTube becomes the ultimate discovery and engagement tool for content. And of course, YouTube creators will have full management capabilities over this feature. To all the game developers, publishers, and the millions of YouTube content creators out there, soon we'll have more information to share on these engagement tools and how we'll be working with you to connect with and build your communities. I'd now like to introduce a friend of mine to the stage. He has over 11 million subscribers on his channel, The Game Theorist, and he and his wife, Stephanie, have often been advocates for the creator community. So we were delighted to talk to him about Stadia and what it means for creators. Please welcome to the stage my friend, Matt Pat.
All right. Hello, Matt Pat. Remember,
Thanks, Ryan.
everything
It's
he's
an
about to
incredible
say
honor
is just
to
a
be here
theory,
today.
a game
Now,
theory.
For us creators, our audience is our lifeblood. Whether we're breaking down the real-life science of the fictional world of Fallout, or diving into the theories behind bending the ink machine, or simply streaming gameplay on our live stream channel, GT Live, we're always looking for new ways to connect and engage with our audience. Which is why, when I first met with the Stadia team, I was floored by the impact that it can have for not just gamers, but also creators. Stadia not only empowers me to easily create and share my work, but it also unlocks completely new ways for me to build a stronger bond with my audience. Crowdplay, for example, gives our audiences
Crowdplay
the
is
chance
really
to
cool.
instantly jump into a
It's a
game
really
with
cool
us,
idea.
and then the creators feature
Excuse me.
them live on the stream in real time. Another feature
It
that
does
I'm
mean
incredibly
you'd
excited
have to
about
stream
is
on
State
YouTube
Share.
though.
Here,
So
the possibilities are
I mean, you could
limitless
stream
and
on YouTube
live
and then
streaming
have
for
that
games,
stream
for
fed
instance,
into
has
Twitch,
been one of the most popular
and
formats
people
of
would just have to
live
click
streaming
over to YouTube.
since its inception. But now with State Share, you can actually take this to the next level by letting the people who are just watching you replicate the exact same scenario you just played through in-game. Like that impossible moment when you're out of med kits and you suddenly have a zombie breathing down your neck. Imagine the endless breathing down your neck. Imagine the endless variations that creators can layer on top of all their favorite games by specifically designing challenges oriented to their unique audience. For creators, you suddenly become a game maker yourself.
Oh,
Creating
no,
challenges
okay.
through State Share
That's a bit of a
allows us
leap.
to continue creating content for all your favorite games long after the game itself has been completed. And on the other hand, the audience now can reconnect with all their favorite games in completely new, exciting, and fresh ways. But of course, also as a gamer, I'm looking forward to tremendously all the new possibilities of gameplay that Stadia opens up and that can be built only for Stadia. I mean, think about this. 1,000-player battle royale matches. Incredible new graphical possibilities. And of course, all of this is available across any screen. Literally, I could just pick up my phone and start playing exactly where I left off on my laptop, even while sitting in an audience of a keynote like this one. I hope you're not playing right now. A lot of exciting stuff happening on stage, but you could do it. Stadia just truly unlocks new opportunities to create, share, and engage across YouTube. I am personally thrilled about what Stadia brings to the table, how it unites technology and entertainment in completely new ways that we have never seen before, and in ways that can only be possible through the combined power of Google and YouTube. So I thank the Stadia team for having me in here today. I can't wait to see what else you guys have in store, and I'll see the rest of you on the floors of GDC.
Thanks, Ryan and Matt Pat. Connecting players and creators to their favorite games is core to our vision. We've shown you how YouTube and Stadia offer the ability for gamers to connect with content creators and game developers in extraordinary ways. There is another Stadia integration with YouTube that we're really excited about. Designers love creating challenge, but as games reach more and more people, the design problem of creating a perfect challenge gets more and more difficult. When a player is stuck on a level or puzzle and desperately wants that next beat in the story or the breathtaking views in the next level, what do? Today, they have to leave the game, fire up YouTube, find the right video, scrub.
Oh man, people can make guides that will actually let you like automatically follow along.
Take this example from our friends at Crystal
That's
Dynamics.
so neat.
When the player gets stuck on a level, like me,
That's
instead
really,
of
really
grabbing a laptop
neat.
or a phone, they just need to push the button on
Not
the
necessarily the
Stadia
type of
controller
feature I would want to use, but
No
that's so
distractions,
cool.
No need to take your eyes off the game.
And then
no
just
secondary
you just move
devices
on.
needed.
That is really cool though.
It's another deep way in which we're connecting players with the games they love. Stadia is about removing barriers for players to get to their favorite content and moments. With Stadia, any link can be an access point to the game.
I see a lot of people in the
So
chat
for a developer,
laughing at the
entire
idea of like an
internet
easy
can
mode
become
and like a
your
cheat
store.
button and whatever. But I mean, like,
Whether
you
it's
know,
from our
even
Stadia
like
store,
in the
text
90s, like the
messages,
popularity
Reddit,
of like
Facebook, Twitter,
FAQs
Discord,
online,
Google
you know,
search
where
results,
people were
YouTube
looking
videos,
for help
Gmail,
with getting
or from
through
the
any
Google
given
Play
game,
Store,
you know, like
gamers
it would
are
be
going to be able
ignorant to say
find,
people haven't been
discover,
looking for
and
this type
enjoy
of help
your
for
games
ages.
Anywhere they are.
It's
and
neat
easily
that
share them with their friends.
it can
It's
get
a
to this
truly
extent.
revolutionary way to discover your games.
Like this is such a
Stadia
cool like
is home
endpoint for
to a
that.
variety of games, and we're happy to say
Again, don't know
we
if
will
I'll ever
offer
use it, but
comprehensive
fuck,
parental
that's a cool
controls
use of
for all content.
their infrastructure.
We've already shipped development hardware to more than 100 studios around the world, and more than 1,000 creatives and engineers are hard at work.
Yeah, fuck. Okay, Google, please get Donguri to SSS rank this fight for me, right? Fuck, that's super cool.
Today, we are forming Stadia Games and Entertainment, which will build experiences designed exclusively for Stadia.
Now they have like
Google's
100
own
employees
first-party game
at
studio.
GDC getting everyone they can. Yeah, it's like OG
And
speed
we've
demos
recently been
archive, you're right.
joined by one of the industry's most successful executive producers to lead that organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new head of Stadia Games and Entertainment, Jade Raymond.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everyone. I am so honored to be here at the unveiling of Stadia. In my career, I've been lucky enough to work with some of the most talented and passionate developers in the world. Passion is at the root of all great games, and it's what motivated me to join Google. What I love about games is that we continue to redefine what a game is. When I was 12, I saw the holodeck on an episode of Star Trek. And even though the games I played at the time were side-scrolling, pixel-based kind of games like Mega Man, it was obvious to me that one day, games would take place in fully immersive worlds. Today, you have seen some incredible tech. And hopefully, like me, you now believe that we're on the brink of a huge revolution in gaming. One that will unlock a whole new level of creativity for developers. There are no limits to the human imagination. Now that the data center is your platform, the processing power is limitless as well. I'm excited to announce that as the head of Stadia Games and Entertainment, I will not only be bringing first-party game studios to reimagine the new generation of games. Our team will also be working with external developers to make all of the bleeding-edge Google technology you have seen here today available to partner studios, big and small. We are committed to going down the bold path, learning what is working best, and sharing key tools and tech so that we can take games to the next level together. The way I see it, there has never been a more exciting time to be a developer. And Stadia will be a driving force defining the future of games and entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade, and a very warm welcome to Google. With Stadia, our goal is to combine the world of people who play games and the world of people who watch games into one global community powered by the best of Google. We've shared a lot today. With Stadia, you'll be able to build your games backed by Google technology like Google Assistant, ML, and TensorFlow. You will be able to deliver your games to more gamers across the globe through Chrome, Chromecast, and Pixel. And you'll be able to connect with the biggest community of gamers and YouTube content creators. So, how do you get involved? For developers who want to create content for Stadia, we welcome you to go to stadia.dev, where you can apply to get access to development tools. If you want to partner with our team at Google to help bring your game to market, we have Stadia Partners, a program designed to give you the resources your team needs to make something great.
Yeah, click around on that website after the stream and see what's what.
First to learn more, you can go to stadia.com and follow us on these social channels. So, when will players be able to experience Stadia? I'm thrilled to announce that Stadia is launching this year, 2019.
Oh wow, yeah, the site's way overloaded.
We will launch first in the US, Canada, the UK, and most of Europe. It's been my privilege today to introduce Stadia on behalf of the thousands of Googlers who've worked tirelessly to bring this vision to life. This is the first step in the journey, and we'll be connecting with you again in the summer to share more details on the games you'll get to play at launch and beyond. Thank you very much for gathering around with all of us today. With Stadia, we can all dream bigger and together build a playground for every imagination. Thank you.
That was a very interesting conference. I'll let this video play out. Definitely have a lot of stuff to say about it. Okay, so I think I can stop this for the time being. I think we're good. Let's see this Google Stadia channel, see if there happens to be anything interesting on there. Not yet. Not yet. Hopefully soon. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. That was really interesting. I think my expectations were in the wrong place because I think without seeing their vision and their idea for it, it's hard to see what's so cool about it. So like going in, I kind of was leaning into some of the rumors that there was going to be a streaming service and it was going to have an additional optional like hardware console style box that you could buy. And for me, I was like, yeah, I like the box. I do like my box. And like, to be clear, I prefer my box. You know, I prefer having my box and my disc or my cartridge or whatever. I do like that. But I can't deny that after seeing what they're presenting and seeing how they're intending to leverage their back end, they are offering up concepts that right now can't really be achieved on the box, you know? So I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in the first place. First and foremost, we've seen this work with Assassin's Creed Odyssey last year, and it worked great. People had a great time with it. Let me actually get some stats on that, like what internet people needed and stuff. So that worked great. Obviously, this is not going to be for everyone because data caps and speed limits and such. But excuse me. But some of the things that they're banding around here, some of the premises, like having like limitless, theoretically limitless hardware caps and limitations, that's really interesting. I mean, I imagine a lot of developers will just pop their settings up to the maximum and then like jack some stuff up a little higher, you know. I imagine for a lot of games that are built to exist on consoles and PC as like traditional games, you know, you'll just get a beautiful version of that being streamed. Which, by the way, being able to stream those theoretically at like 4K 60 is really impressive. But for games that are developed for it, even just looking at some of the like nascent ideas they banded around there, they had that neat looking I don't know, flight game where the character was flying in this city with some Crackdown 3 style destruction. I don't imagine there'll be any videos of that quite yet. No, not quite yet. Even just looking at that, like that's a concept that at a certain level of scale doesn't really work so well on a console or on a PC. And in theory, you could really scale up the types of games you wanted to make, and you could make games where you could make big elaborate multiplayer games where you wouldn't have to worry about hardware limitations as much. I mean, I imagine there's still a theoretical ceiling to hit, but like at very least the types of limiters that are on today would be pulled off a little bit. Seeing ideas like the way they were handling split screen content. I don't remember exactly what the term, the branded term they had for that was, but that's really fucking smart, and games that were made for that would probably be able to get some really good results. I imagine, like, you know, nowadays, like any split screen game that would go up on that service just today, it would just be something off a console or off a PC, you know, that was already optimized to run on these machines, so it wouldn't necessarily be the most impressive thing in the world, but like, again, being able to just harness the ability to do split screen via multiple instances, allowing you to still have something that's like gorgeous looking, but also just like split on the spot like that, like makes me wonder if some publishers or developers will support that sort of split screen for games that don't traditionally have it. Like, for example, say a game like The Division 2, right? A game that definitely does not have split screen, but in theory, if you were running multiple instances that would just get squashed together side by side, in theory, that's something you could enable, and that's something you could do that you really can't do on consoles and PCs today without getting into like incredibly expensive PC setups, you know, expensive and elaborate PC setups, you know. There are a lot of cool things you could do here, and I'm interested to see, you know, some big games take on some of these ideas. I'd be a lot more skeptical if, you know, people hadn't already been able to engage with Project Stream with Assassin's Creed Odyssey last year with the great results that they showed. You know, I would definitely feel like this is this is a bit of hot air if that hadn't already happened, but being as that already happened and the response was really, really positive, this seems super doable. And other ideas like being able to join in live on people who are streaming on YouTube, being able to jump into people's, saves on videos. Like if I posted a video online and you watched the video and there was a sequence that you enjoyed for whatever reason, the idea that maybe you'd be able to just click something and hop into that instance, that scenario, and hop into it not like 10 minutes from then, not like I'm going to take this code and type it into my Wii U, but like being able to just click the link and it pops up in your browser or on your phone or like whatever device. That's really fucking dope. There's going to be kinks, of course. It's not going to be perfect from day one, but like conceptually, this is really fucking elaborate and I think also really cool. I do wish they would have showed more games today, but I definitely think I had a different idea of what this was going to be. Because I thought this was going to be, this is our streaming service, this is our console. They're the same. This one streaming service is really powerful and it's really, you're going to get really pretty results. Console is not going to be quite as powerful, but still cool. And then here's our games. $400, that was kind of what I thought it was going to be. And being that they actually had a lot of like genuinely like innovative technology and software ideas to share and explain, I definitely think I had the wrong idea. Again, I would have still liked to see some more games, especially being that we do have confirmation, like explicit confirmation now that they do have their own studios. Q Games is clearly working on something that's going to support that. There's going to be content. I'm not really worried about the content. If any company can get big content, it'll be Google. But I'm impressed. I gotta say. I would still prefer to have a box. I'd love to have a box. A new competitor coming into the market with their own studios, pumping money into, their own games. Like, that's just new, cool, good stuff. I'd prefer to have the box, but if Google does have their own internal studios and they are going to be making new games, then that's great. And I'm perfectly happy with that, honestly. I'll always prefer to play games locally, I think. But I am curious to see what sorts of content they will make in-house and they will get made by other studios that can leverage some of the ideas they showed off here. Really exciting to me. Also, that thing they showed that uses whatever, I'm not going to pretend to be a smart guy. The thing they showed that uses the AI to make the game look like the painting. That thing, that's really neat. In practice, what they were showing didn't look like particularly rough or anything. Can I force this to search for a channel? There we go. In practice, the stuff didn't look like really rough or anything, but I guess we'll have to see with actual content when that actually exists, and they're not just showing something off. Interesting, yeah, it's true. Tequila Works said that the term to look up is style transfer. Okay, cool. Yeah, that does ring as familiar. Tequila Works expressing that they were working with that in-house at the time. I guess that means Tequila Works is also making something. But I'm curious to see what Tequila Works makes and whether they're mainly going to use that as a back-end thing or if that's going to be more of a forward-facing user thing. Because the idea that users could pop in their own stuff or type in a URL to something they want to skin the game with is pretty cool. But I do wonder if for Tequila Works this more just means it'll rapidly accelerate aspects of their their art creation, early in development. As was expressed on stage, particularly for pre-production and like finding your style and finding your aesthetic, it seems like a really insanely powerful tool. Although I do wonder if those results, like, if you're able to take those results out and like use them elsewhere, or if they'll end up being kind of locked into that proprietary Google circle. I don't know. I don't. Great that they're gonna have Unreal and Unity support. I mean, that's a necessity. It's just an absolute necessity. So it's good that they're just gonna have that, and that's just gonna be in. Jake is not gross says, did I miss it, or did we not hear anything about a price point? Yeah, so no news on price, no news on streaming costs or subs or buying anything. This was very much not a product-focused presentation, which I think that's what I was expecting coming into this. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. I was expecting a presentation focused on product, and this was a presentation focused on platform. I think they delivered in a lot of ways. So I'm not sure about the comfort of this controller. I don't know. I'm keen to have this in my hand. It is better than that shitty mock-up that we saw spinning around the internet over the past few weeks. Share button built in with the idea that you can access all that footage at like 480, 60. I mean YouTube quality, but YouTube 480 is still YouTube 4K is still not bad or anything. Like that's still pretty good quality considering all you have to do is hit a button to get it. That's cool. That's a great button. I love my share button on my PS4. I love my share button on my Switch. I wish my Xbox had a dedicated one as well because I don't have a Kinect. Good. I like that. The Hey Google button or whatever that lets you ask for shit. That's cool too. I have a harder time thinking of like use cases I would want to use it for. But you know what they talked about at the end, like the idea that a developer could have like their own guides for the games, the idea that you could just ask like, hey Google, I need help with this game, and potentially you could get help with the game potentially. That's cool. This one's definitely more of a question mark in my head, but there's some cool ideas there. If that works well, then that's pretty rad. I need help with my marriage. Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, you're kicking back to play a game. Why not like get some advice? You know. So yeah, again, not totally in love with this controller, but one thing with this controller that I, at least on paper, I am unambiguously in love with is the idea that this controller does not connect to your device, that it just connects to Wi-Fi and zoops straight over to the server. So I imagine you'll somehow pair your controller with like a unique identifier to your Google account, and then from there it'll just detect when it's connected and stuff. I think that is a super smart idea. I see Issa in the chat saying what. So I guess for anyone who missed that, because that was pretty early on, they explained that how this works is it doesn't connect to your TV or your phone. It connects straight to the Wi-Fi and then that goes to the server running the game, which in theory would cut as much latency as possible. That's fucking cool. I think that's a really, really smart idea, actually. You know, a big issue with like game streaming right now is that there are like hurdles like that, you know. For example, even just streaming games on your PS4, like the inputs losing plenty of milliseconds just getting to the PS4 and being packaged to be sent off to the server before the server gets to receive it and even do anything with the input. And like, you know, it's milliseconds, it's not a lot, but you know, when we're trying to get as low latency as possible, the idea that this would just shoot straight over to the server is fucking rad. That's really smart. I'm very curious to see the price on this controller. I don't expect that it'll be particularly cheap, but I'm impressed by this idea. This is never something that's occurred to me, and it shows that they've put a lot of thought into this. So, Conlon Arts says, so you have to buy this controller to play. So they expressed during the press conference that you'd be able to use other controllers you own already. So, in theory, you'd be able to hook up a controller with a USB cable or something. I guess when it comes to TVs and stuff, I don't really know. But when it comes to computers, I imagine just plugging in with a USB. And they showed, of course, playing with a mouse and keyboard. So those other options are there. In theory, like if you were playing on a laptop, this would be faster though. I mean, if you're playing with a wired connection on a desktop, potentially that would be quicker. It's cool. I dig that. And then of course, like playing with a tablet and or a phone, like I imagine they'll have the sort of on-screen buttons that we all hate, especially when there's so much of them, or the option to use this with some sort of mount or something like that. I do hope that for the I've been thinking about this for a while, but for both Xbox's xCloud project and for this, I hope that for like their mobile versions of playing games, they'll have like custom button layouts that developers can make. So if a dev's like, hey, my game only uses the left stick and the A and the B, you know, we can just have a left stick input and a B on the screen instead of having to have like a full Xbox One controller layout and shit all over at all times. That's something I've wondered about for a long time, honestly, though. Yeah, what else was even? I need like a list of news. Got here that Stadia dev website. I don't think there'll be too much to take in here. We got to learn more about Stadia button, which I will hit. Are those 3 dots a select button? I imagine these are just start select, yeah. I imagine. Oh, jeez. This is dope. This is a good picture right here. I like that. Oh, congrats, Kit, dude. You're having a baby? That's actually so nice. My girlfriend and I want to have a kid one day. That's so nice, dude. Congratulations. I'm jealous. One day. Ooh, we got a little behind the scenes. Oh, we got a blog. Okay, hang on. Let's check out the blog. We got to check out the blog. Behind the scenes, Unity support for Stadia, what you need to know. Help shape the future Stadia. Let's just fucking... I'm not going to bother clicking on the Unreal one. Well, no, let's do it. I don't know if there'll be much for me there. Okay, use cookies. It's fine. Built to evolve. Oh, you meant you hit 9-month sub. Oh. I thought you were having a child. That's funny. Thank you nonetheless. Oh, that's making me cough a lot now. So I'm the one having the baby, that's what you're saying. Congratulations nonetheless. Hardware will be periodically upgraded alongside the software and services. I want to see that. Next gen software using Vulkan, yeah. Powerful, familiar, yeah. I imagine that's just gonna tell us about how it uses Unity and Unreal. Gameplay across all device types. This is still so cool. Yeah, it's not going to get me much. I didn't imagine there would be much here. Style transfer ML. Style transfer is the process of combining the content of one image and the style of another to create something new. This is a well-studied problem in machine learning with a number of open source implementations available. It's just a GitHub link to a style transfer search. Many techniques can create aesthetically pleasing still images. However, when used frame by frame on animations and movies, the results are sometimes inconsistent. Features that appear in one frame, like colors, textures, and brushstrokes, might vanish in the next, resulting in an unpleasantly flickering video. Previous techniques to address these problems required computational resources that made real-time interaction infeasible in modern screen resolutions. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. By offloading that to their insane server racks, they can theoretically do this in real time. Inspired by Magenta Team's real-time arbitrary image style transfer model. I can view the code or the paper, neither of which I'm going to get anything from. I'm going to start skimming this pretty hard. We removed parts that couldn't be officially computed by the GPU because we knew when we wanted to hit a very high performance target. Yeah, it seems necessary. Yeah, there's some words I understand in some of these paragraphs, but oh no, the pictures are broken because it's being hit too hard. It seemed as though there were like GIFs in here. Yeah, there we go. Good, this is what I want. That's impressive, man. I wonder how long it takes. Like if you I'm gonna sound like a total amateur here, but if you drag the JPEG in, like how long does it take to get it to spit out something, you know? Probably not long. Probably very quick, but I'm fucking impressed. Yeah, translating an illustrated two-dimensional piece of concept art into a fully realized game environment would ordinarily require custom texture painting, modeling, material crafting, lighting, and tuning. Real-time artistic style, oh, real-time, there we go. That's, you know, there's the answer. I probably should have just read. Real-time artistic style transfer potentially allows developers to go straight from looking at a concept to testing it in a live, interactive game environment. This might enable rapid iteration of a video game's art style. I think it could. Absolutely, if you wanted to leverage that, like they say it might enable, I think it really could. I think it will, in fact. Real-time execution of artistic style transfer also opens up new forms of video game interaction, including the shifting of visual styles during gameplay. Oh yeah, it's true. In practice, you could do some really dramatic shifts on a dime without having to like dramatically rethink how you achieve certain things. Fuck, that's good. Individually customized artistic styles, personalization by the player. So that is something they have in mind there. Styles generated through user-generated content, turning a drawing into rendered game art. Note that 3D assets used to build our Greybox demo world were not specifically made by us to influence the results, but are available to anyone on Unreal Engine's marketplace. Wow, okay, so they just picked a set. Oh, yeah, these do look, yeah, okay. So they just picked assets they felt were appropriate by Cinti Studios to make a demonstration scene. That's neat, the idea that these weren't necessarily engineered specifically for this demonstration. That's cool that they just show that right here. So yeah, like putting this in with that and getting that out. This is nice here, how it's like created these like dramatic strokes on edges, but like only on like vertical lines, not on horizontals. The horizontals all read off the graph, and they get this like kind of gray attribute. The thicker lines get the thicker. Wow, that's really cool. And then here, God, I grew up with this painting in my house, right? So just looking at this, like I can immediately see this. This one's a lot more like nuanced and detailed, so it's a little harder to pick out like specific attributes like the top one. But just seeing like the way it handles the sky in the background and how that sort of matches up with the watercolors around the edge here, that's super impressive. Having this in real time too, that's... Yeah, okay. Nothing else to really read from this page. This is fucking dope. I'm very keen to see something working with this. I'm hopeful. So they said they're going to do a proper release in 2019. I'm hopeful that before their release, they will have another press conference or talk or what have you. Maybe at E3, that would be cool. And they could show off stuff. Salt Pigu says, why do you think they're not supporting the Japanese game scene? So I don't think they're not supporting the Japanese game scene. I think it just so happens that like the 4 content creators they had were Western, and even then, where is Q Games located? Because, yeah, I was going to say Q Games is explicitly a Japanese company. They've always been a Japanese company. So, yeah, one of the companies was Japanese, and then they had Doom, and they had mentions of Ubisoft, and they had Tequila Works, who are in Mexico or Spain. So there were snippets of FF15, but anyway, I do think they're gonna have like content from Japan. I absolutely do, but I guess they're just not releasing there right yet for streaming. Oh, when you say they're not supporting the Japanese game scene, do you mean like on a consumer side? Oh, that's what you mean. When you said game scene, that made me think development. I see what you mean. Okay, yeah. So they announced that it was going to be, what was it? US, Canada, UK, and was the 4th thing Europe? Are UK and Europe separate? Did Brexit finish? It's a shame. Anyway, I don't fucking know. I imagine it's just a gradual rollout, right? I imagine that's just like we're gonna start here and then we're eventually gonna hit other places. It does suck that they can't be global. I definitely think they'd rather be global because I think like a lot of the big money in these sorts of services is that sort of globalization, being able to hit Asian regions, being able to hit countries like India and Africa, where like there are a lot of gamers, but people who don't have access as easily to like proper gaming hardware. Like I think it's more a matter of time than anything else. I don't think that like it's never gonna happen for Japan or anything. So I do think like yeah they're gonna leverage the development scene for sure there, no question, but yeah, it is a shame that they're not going to launch the streaming there. So Unity support for Stadia. What can I expect in building? Very similar development process. All native features unique to Stadia that are required. Okay, cool. I develop in Unity today. When can I start creating and publishing a Stadia? They've already begun with early partners and studios. Hey, cool. They're already in there. If you're interested in getting early access to the SDK, just go for it. Can we port existing games? Yep. Yeah, nothing shocking here. This all seems very normal. I imagine that's the same for Unreal. A little less info there, but yeah, pretty much the same thing. Whoa! Using the benefit of the cloud, Stadia developers can test and play their games by simply providing a link to team members. No download or installation needed. Wow, that's so neat. So like, you just make a build, and then the build just comes with the URL, and then you can just share the build around. Whoa, that's so fucking cool. And if you're using like static IPs for your studio, like it'll be locked down anyway. That's so cool. That's a really neat feature. I imagine all those blades will be in a separate environment, but help shape the future Stadia. I don't know if this is going to say anything interesting. User research, user UX research, conduct research. We want to research. Help us research. Okay, yeah, it's just that's really looking for staff almost. Stadia partners, free dev hardware for selected developers. Anyone who's released a game before knows that one of the most blah, 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 blah. How can you apply? Yeah, it's straight up just apply. Contest. Our key requirement is to show us something for the game you're pitching. Nothing you must adhere to. Neat. That's cool that they're just going to hand out some hardware like that. Welcome to Stadia. I don't know if there's much to... This is going to be the most bland one. The one thing I will say is, like, a lot of the time when I see hardware or like platform presentations, and they talk about the hardware and they talk about how innovative it is and such, a lot of the times I tend to go, yeah, kind of, a little, whatever. You know, when these guys say that they're working to enable you to innovate and stuff like that, I feel like I can immediately agree with that statement already. It's very easy to see like smart ways to leverage these tools to do things that you literally just couldn't do on consoles right now, or like again, or on PCs that weren't like absurdly powerful. It's cool how they talk. I mean, it makes sense because it was at GDC, but it's cool how they presented a lot of stuff that had to do, you know, not only with the consumer facing side, not only with the product itself, not only with YouTube, but also like the development side. And they were able to like emphasize certain tools and concepts that you could leverage, and easily demonstrate how some of those work as well. Yeah, not much else on there. It's a shame that this was really like a more of a platform presentation than like a product presentation, because I would love to just click on game videos and see what they're working on, but again, I guess it wasn't to be. Hopefully at E3 they'll have like a presentation that's more gaming focused, so we can all have a look at what exclusive stuff they're working on. And I'm very keen, kind of tying back to like that example I posited about the Division 2. Like, I'm keen to see if like some developers will leverage some of these new tools to implement stuff like split screen in multiplayer games that are already finished, that didn't have split screen before, that could now take advantage of that. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff you could do with that. The ability to have split screen in at just about any level of fidelity is pretty dope. So, because it's not as though we don't have gorgeous looking multiplayer games, you know, be it on consoles or on PC. We just don't have split screen because we can't fucking handle it, you know. So that'd be neat. That'd be cool. I guess I'll hit Google real quick and just see if there's anything I missed. Oh. Launching this year is cool, man. It's gonna get fucking hammered like the moment it comes out. I know we're all gonna click the various links to try to play something as soon as we can. But that first week, I predict it's just going to be hammered so absurdly hard that like a lot of people aren't going to be able to get in. Yeah, not really any other news on it right now. I imagine over the weekend we'll hear some tidbits. Of course, over the weekend it's going to be playable. They said they're going to have some of their demos on the show floor. We already know Google has like a really large area. It's actually funny, they have like a large area at GDC bought out, where there are like TVs and there are like empty displays where it's clear that hardware is supposed to go, like their controller or what have you. So I imagine over the course of the weekend that'll fill out and we'll get to see some of the stuff they are working on and hear a little bit more. But for actual products, for actual pricing, stuff like that, I imagine we're just going to have to wait for a while, which is a shame because I would have loved to see some of that. Again, I think we were all looking forward to seeing some of the product. But the premise is still really dope, and I don't know. I'm keen to get my hands on it. I genuinely thought, I guess I thought that, you know, being that I thought it was going to be hardware and a streaming service, it never would have even remotely occurred to me that the streaming service would only leapfrog the hardware. It never would have occurred to me that the streaming service would leapfrog the hardware in more ways than just the graphics. Because I really thought it was going to be, you can play your games in this box in your house, or you can stream them at nicer levels of quality from our servers, right? And I was so in the wrong ballpark, you know? The idea that like it was genuinely going to be such a step forward in things you could theoretically do never really occurred to me at all. I'm excited. Who would you say Stadia appeals to? People without consoles, people who want to play on the go? Question mark. I mean, I think it's for everyone, right? Like, I think, and I know there's going to be some folks in the YouTube comments who are going to tell me that that's not the case, but I think all of us are eventually going to be watching a YouTube video, and we're going to see that we can hit a button right there to try like a demo of it or to try something, and we'll hit it and we'll try it, you know? And I don't think that this necessarily needs to have like a super hard target, because they're gonna be able to have all the games they want in terms of like just getting developers on board, both big and small. They're gonna have their own games, and the accessibility is going to be like tremendous, you know? Like when you just think about the amount of people who are on YouTube watching game videos. I mean, like I'm on YouTube watching game videos, you know. I'm gonna click on stuff. I think a lot of us are gonna try clicking on stuff. I don't know that there necessarily is like a direct, straight target market that I could identify like just from this. I guess people who don't buy game hardware like traditionally is probably the primary, but at the same time, like I do think that, you know, if they're able to show off nice exclusives, you know, those of us who do primarily buy game hardware and who like that experience are still going to look over and go, well, you have a cool game. I still want to give that a go. You know, I still want to give that a try. Obviously, I guess some of this will leverage on like the actual options for using it, and the costs of using it. That is to say, like, you know, do you need a subscription to be able to click those buttons at all? You know, can you play for a brief time without a subscription after seeing a video? Can it be ad funded, like YouTube videos, you know, where you watch an ad every, I don't know, however much time, you know? That the cost aspect is going to be a big deal for sure, and I'm curious to see how that'll go down, because I have no fucking idea, you know, because I don't imagine it'll, like, I don't imagine you can just make a game and put it up and be like, here, you can just play it for free here, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, like you are, you know, leveraging their infrastructure. There does have to be money coming in. So I wonder what the minutia of that is gonna be, and I think that's gonna inform us a lot more than just what we've seen. So, oh shit, Eurogamer, Digital Foundry more specifically, did do a hands-on with their streaming service. Wow, written by Richard Ledbetter and everything. This article just went up. Very cool. Thank you for linking me this. Of course, yeah, you still do need like fast internet, like no question, you know, like for a lot of people, this is just going to be a no by default. I'm just trying to find some numbers here. UI changes according to the controller you connect. That's very cool. I assume this is specifically for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Wow, yeah, they already have a video. Google Stadia specs analysis. Feel free to watch this after. Digital Foundry is great. So, demo they played retained the 30 FPS performance profile they saw when I assume this is when they tried the Project Stream demo. Video quality itself was still at 1080p. So, what they played, I assume at GDC? Perhaps. They played 1080-30. I'm not shocked. I do think the requirements for streaming 4K 60 are going to be fucking nuts. Like, I would rather dial it down to 720/60 myself, you know, so. They say they're not in controlled conditions for the tests that are to follow. We have some analysis. Yeah, the controller. So this is the only hardware they're offering. You can also hook it up with a USB-C cable, which I assume would be how you charge it too, so. See Frithnath in the chat saying, I genuinely don't believe this appeals to console users that don't want to complicate things, and PC users will lose that control over their games that they want by having Google be in charge of their game's performance and being unable to fix game bugs / glitches. Yeah, I mean, this definitely isn't for... This isn't primarily for, like, your like, 1%, like, min-maxers who want to be on the bleeding edge, you know? Or even, like, you know, hardcore console fans who really like, you know, like where I'm at, where like I really appreciate being able to play my games locally and such. I would definitely say, yeah, it's not primarily for them, no doubt. But again, I just think the actual audience this is for is potentially so broad, like being that it will be linked straight in with YouTube like that, and it'll be on all our, I mean, this will probably be like built in at an OS level on Android devices in the future as well, you know. Like, it will literally only be a few clicks away for anyone to play like incredibly high fidelity games, potentially at a very low cost, potentially at no cost, depending on the circumstances. So what about the games? Yeah, hit me. We pegged button to pixel latency for the system at 179 milliseconds. The game operates at 1080p, 30 FPS, the half refresh frame rate adding to the overall lag. Our measurement here was, yeah, so I guess bear in mind this was not a game like explicitly made for project, or for this platform. And like Assassin's Creed Odyssey is not the most responsive game in the first place, but measurement here was using a LAN connection to the router with 200 megabits per second of bandwidth. Had the opportunity to retest the system using a later version of the streamer, playing on a Google Pixelbook, running Chrome OS connected via Wi-Fi. Despite the fact that we used Wi-Fi, which adds anything up to 10 milliseconds of lag in our previous tests, though router and device configuration could change that, and that we didn't know the display lag of the Pixelbook, our most consistent button-to-pixel result is 166 milliseconds. So even when they swapped off a computer using a LAN connection to the router to a Wi-Fi device, they actually got incredibly consistent and actually faster, nominally faster results. That's impressive. Because I did, you know, when I see 179 for wired, I imagine by default that's just going to be worse for wireless. But no, in fact, like, it's pretty good. Yeah, and they have some comparisons here. So 166 was their good figure. They have a 188 figure here. I don't know what that one's. That is a 15 megabytes per second mode, a simulation mode offered to developers designed to mimic response on unstable connections. Okay, wonder why it's called that. And the local results use LG C8 OLEDs with 21 milliseconds of lag. Okay, and they didn't know the lag elsewhere. So like, yeah, they got 166 for the wired Stadia connection, and on an Xbox One X they got 166 as well. They got 100 playing on a PC at 60 FPS. That's not a massive difference, man. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, it's measurably slower. Demonstrably so, even in, you know, this sort of imperfect test environment, but that ain't that bad. I gotta say. There's a lot to dig into. I'd recommend you check this out. This is on Eurogamer, Digital Foundry, Google Stadia. So feel free to check that out if you're interested. At this point, I'm just fucking live reading this article, and it's getting less and less interesting. So. Oh yeah, like it's definitely not perfect if you want to play like your Devil May Cry 5s or anything. Oh, without a doubt, no question. But like, this is a fun thing. This will be a fun platform. That'll be neat. I've played games on PlayStation Now, although I haven't played on PlayStation Now since like, God, since it still worked on the Vita. I don't know if you guys know this, but PlayStation Now just doesn't work on the Vita anymore. At some point, they were just like, fuck it, no more Vita support, and they just cut it. But I remember playing, what was I playing? Deus Ex Human Revolution on my Vita, and I played quite a bit of it, and I had a good time. And there was noticeable latency, especially it was like worse back then. And the Vita doesn't even have like a 5 gigahertz wireless receiver, so it was even more limited. But I still had a fun time with it, and I've used other streaming services like OnLive and stuff. Actually, when I worked at THQ for a short period, a very short period, I think it was like 3 days, I tested Homefront on OnLive, which was a thing. Streaming stuff is so far ahead of where it was just a scant time ago. I mean, I guess Homefront was what, 2012 or something, so half a decade ago, a bit more than half a decade ago. And already stuff's improved so much. I hope I'll be able to use this from home. I hope this Google Stadia will be able to deal with my internet, and I'll be able to get something out of this. 'Cause I'm very keen to play some of the bespoke content they make for it, and I'm very keen to see how some developers and publishers may adapt their content for the special features that it offers that you genuinely can't really do elsewhere. So yeah, I think all around this is really cool. I think knee-jerk reaction, it would be easy for me to say I was really disappointed with this presentation because I didn't get to see the product. I didn't get to see what games they're working on or what have you. Very lacking on those sort of hard product details. But I will admit I'm very impressed by some of the technology they're bringing to the table, not just in terms of hardware, but software, and also some of the awesome implementations with YouTube. The YouTube stuff is really cool. I don't stream on YouTube, and I can't say I have plans to, but I'm really interested to see how they'll build on kind of what Twitch has done with Twitch integration. Because Twitch has cool integration for PC games where you can type stuff in the chat and spend your bits to make stuff happen in the game, and fuck with your streamer or whatever, that I never use. But this is a whole other level, being able to click and just join in the browser. That's some exciting shit to me. I don't know. It's not going to be exciting for everyone, no doubt. And I think some people are going to be very disappointed, and this is just, for them, this is nothing. But I think this is really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna take off. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm sorry I haven't been streaming lately. I'm keen to get back. I swear I didn't just do that before I bring up my sickness, but I've just been waiting for my ailments to go away. Cough's leaving. It is genuinely leaving. It was really, really bad earlier this week. Now it's just really bad sometimes. So hopefully I'll be able to stream stuff soon. Because I want to do Metal Gear Acid. I want to fucking finish that. And I want to do Sekiro. I'm really hoping that we can start streaming again when Sekiro comes out, and we can just start with that and have a good time. Because I'm very excited for Sekiro. And I also bought Left Alive because I was planning to stream it before Sekiro came out. So we may have to stream that after. But I'd still like to do Left Alive. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys also found this interesting. I would probably guess that this wasn't really exactly what any of us were expecting. And I thought it was a really cool time. I hope you guys also thought it was a cool time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sitting along with me as I fucking read Eurogamer articles. I'm glad that we can do this together. Anyway, I'm off. Pay attention to my Twitter, and maybe there will be a schedule update soon. The current schedule is complete junk based on when I was not sick, so yeah. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a good evening. Sleep tight. Bye-bye.